welcome to Innovation with Executive Sutra. And today's special guest is Rachel Roderman. Rachel is a creative producer and works on a lot of exciting projects from her home base in New York. Rachel, thanks so much for taking the time to chat with me today.
Thanks for having me.
My first question for you is, tell me more about a current exciting project.
Sure, I am about to launch a web series with the Upright Citizens Brigade digital program. I work on a team that is basically a self-sufficient production team called Brinkman, and we have been creating this web series that is going to be kind of the first of a new channel for UCB Theater, and that's going to come out soon on Vimeo, and we're really excited to have that be kind of a touchstone for what UCB is able to create in the digital realm, because they are primarily an improv and sketch-based stage theater. So we've been doing that, which is really fun. There are a lot of other groups and they're starting to launch their digital presence, so it's just kind of the beginning of a really cool new chapter for UCB. And within UCB Digital, I also produce for Don't Think Productions, which is their branded content brand, where we work with different clients to create all different kinds of content for them, whether it be advertising or personal growth or whatever they kind of have in mind for them.
That sounds fantastic. I'm really curious to see what the online content for an improv theater, especially one of such good standing, what that feels like.
It's really exciting because I think that even in the past few years, they've gotten a lot of press thanks to Amy Poehler and the rest of the UCB4 who founded the theater. And they hold themselves to such a high standard, and so it's kind of trickled down, and so now everybody else involved holds themselves to that standard as well. So we were able to use the resources of all of the amazing performers and writers of UCB and create this together, which is really, really exciting and fun.
What an incredible opportunity to collaborate with some really creative minds. So
it's like 100% collaboration.
That's amazing. So my next question is about the creative process. So what do you love about the creative process, and what have you learned about the creative process through your years working in this industry?
Working with Upright Citizens Brigade, I've also worked with College Humor and worked with a bunch of other really large production companies on commercial level projects, all the way to small boutique companies working with smaller individual or internal projects. And I think the main thing throughout all of them is just really open communication and collaboration. So whether it be a scripted process where we're going creating more of like serial content, it's always, this is what the writers have in mind, and that has to be translated to what the directors have in mind, and that has to be translated clearly in the final product. And then the same thing happens when we're creating something that's branded. This is our initial idea, whether that be the client's idea or the company's idea, filtered down into the production company where, you know, we can't have a totally different idea of how to create it than they had envisioned of what is to be created. So just that really open, free-flowing communication between the two parties is what keeps it going. And what really creates something that everybody is really proud of, because someone has thought of something and seen it to its final, and someone has taken someone's idea and seen it through its final. So both are equally rewarding in the end.
Yeah, that's a great point about collaboration and communication and getting everyone on the same team so that it can come to fruition. So how do you stay creative? You know, I'm sure this work is pretty demanding. How do you keep the creative fire going?
Often when we're working, a lot of our days are taken up fully by these projects, and so I really try to utilize my off time and my downtime to be really truly me time. And I think it's really easy to sit at home and like stay on Facebook or stay on the internet and just like get lost in this world that the internet has provided for us, and kind of like realize that your whole Saturday has gone away. But I like to kind of look at the goals. I actually just rewrote a bunch of goals that I had for myself, personal goals today, this morning, and kind of like get back on track to like, oh my God, realizing I'm totally letting myself go and not following things I want to do. I'm like very focused on work, and then my off days are very focused on like either lethargy or like not doing anything, and kind of rework it to be like, I I do this for a reason and this isn't my end goal, and try and realize that there are other things that I want to do that make me happy, and that can help me, I think, in turn, keep going and moving forward and eventually moving on from this position even now as well.
That's really forward thinking. I love how you were talking about taking care of me, having me time, but as a way to feed your future self, and looking at all the different pieces of work, relaxation, but so many other personal goals. And I know you're big on goals. I'm big on goals. So that's inspiring.
Yeah, it's definitely having them written down. You know, I don't think I do them. I don't look at them as often as I should, and I'm trying to get better about that. But I think because this work can get so, a lot of the times, like, we do long hours and we're always around the same people, and so it can be tiring, frankly. And so I think it's really good to be able to step away and be like, why did you start it to begin with? And then, is it your end goal? Because some people just, like, they're where they want to be, and that's great. For me, it's like I still want to go even further into it, so that's why I think the goal setting is really important.
Yeah. And what I heard you say was, what is your motivation? Why are you doing it? And then what's your inspiration? Like, what is your, or your aspiration, excuse me, your aspiration? Like, where else are you going?
I feel like as a producer, it's the things that are required of me and the things I'm really good at are being organized, seeing things as a problem and creating solutions from them. So it's whether it be like, we need to work within this budget, or we need to come up with this kind of atmosphere, like we need to go into this type of place. A lot of it truly is always related to money issues, to be quite frank. So a lot of that is just like being very numbers oriented, being very organized, and figuring out what's the best for everything, and how to, like, truly find the most creative way to do something within a really small and really constrained area. But I think that for me, while I really thrive in that environment, I also have a very strong desire to be on the creative side, where it's people saying yes to my ideas and making it happen. So now I get to, like, kind of find a balance and see the best ways to make other people's ideas, which makes me a better idea creator, I think, because I'm able to be like, oh, well, here's a roadblock, here's a roadblock, here's a roadblock, and kind of come up with ideas that maybe can even avoid those things from the get-go. So that's where eventually I want to be, more towards the creative side.
Fantastic. Yeah, it sounds like your experience has given you foresight into not longevity, but like the potential of an idea, and helps you to probably filter your ideas and make them even stronger.
Definitely. It's definitely been a big filter. And, like, for a lot of it, it's not, oh, you can't always say yes to everything. So it's like figuring out what are the most important things to say yes to and how to make sure that those things happen. And for certain ideas that I've had or whatever I am pursuing in my creative side, it is, oh, well, I know that I'm probably not going to be able to do that. So without even showing anybody, how can I rework it and make it more possible from the get-go?
There's things that you're saying that I hear again and again. You know, I was just speaking to one of my friends who is also in post-production, he's in post-production in a slightly different part of the work, and also an entrepreneur like you. And he talked about how under constraints, sometimes creativity thrives, and also how important it is to say no, because then that gives you space for other things. So two good muscles to be building.
Yeah, I'm definitely bad at saying no. I always want, the main rules of improv, which led me to Upright Citizens Brigade Theater in general, are their main rule is yes and. So you get on stage and there's someone that goes and they offer a piece of information, and the rule of the other partner and the two partners working together is yes and. So you don't necessarily have to say yes and to the thing that they're saying, but you agree with them and you offer information to keep the conversation moving forward. And so we constantly attempt, and I think it works well in business as well, to yes and each other and not say, no, this is why it doesn't work. It's like, yes, this is why it could work because of this. And so that does lead me down always the path of like, oh, well, maybe I should have said no, but in a way that is also yes-anding. So it's kind of like being able to say no, but being able to still move forward while saying no, which is always something that I think is really hard to work around. But when you can, is like changes the whole game.
Absolutely. It's a great skill. I like that yes and, because like you said, it keeps the dialogue going, which keeps that collaboration and that teamwork happening. So Rachel, I'm curious, any tips that you have for the viewers or people who may watch this video later about how to stay creative in your day-to-day life and also in your career?
I think the main thing that I try to work with and that I'm trying more every day to work with is really utilizing the free time, because I do think that people who are very career focused or just even very committed to the job that they're doing at that given moment can get very sucked into what's going on. And it is about like being in the moment and being committed to that. But I do think that having some sort of reward for yourself on the times that you have down, like whether you're reading a book by an author that you really wanted to read, or you're watching movies or television that are inspiring to you, like it can be as simple as that, or just having conversations with people in your life. Like I try to get on the phone more so now than just texting people, because I feel like those conversations just tend to be more valuable to me, and I'm like learning so much more from the people around me than I would if I was just texting people. So I think for me, it's getting really a lot out of my free time and making sure that the free time is really about how I can somehow rework or make the most of what I have right now in order to be able to move forward and kind of see that there are other things out there, that I'm not stuck. And that helps even when you're getting like frustrated with what you're doing.
Definitely. Yeah, I love that word you use, not stuck, you know, being more fluid, going with the flow, and also being intentional and being present with our time. Even when it's not structured like work, we can still be more conscious about how we're using that resource. Well, yeah. Thank you, Rachel. I don't know if you have any other tips, or if not, then we'll wrap this up. And I really appreciate your insight.
Thank you so much.
Great. And for those of you who are looking for even more tips and tools on creativity and innovation, we have other webinars with other speakers, as well as yoga and meditation tips and techniques to keep your creative fire going strong. So thank you again, Rachel, and have a great day.
Thank you.
Bye.